So the time now is what determines how you react in your life. So you work, you get paid by your hour. If you get paid by hour, then you have to fulfill that person's duty. Give unto Caesar that which is Caesar, says Christ. So he says, render to Caesar that which is Caesar. Means that if you're taking money from the man, you owe him time. You owe him that time. Right? Now it's the same thing that happens when we eat. Right? We are taking from the universe. So from the universe, you take it, you put it in your mouth, it gets processed, and it comes out as waste. But we don't determine when. Of course, we don't eat, you don't go. But who can tell the intestines when to go? So again, if you hold it in, which you've seen on TV, people that have got problems with that. They hold it in, the time now takes over and destroys it because you didn't fulfill the function of time. So again, time is such an important quality that it determines every part of life and also causes divorces. Like the guy is late. And she says, oh, you're late, and that starts a whole fight. And it can lead to a lot of things. Right? But when you are higher in consciousness, when you're enlightened, when you know that when you're aware of life and you don't want to be unhappy, you don't let time control you. He said, okay, it's okay, I mean, you're late, you're late. Right? But, you must pay the employer back if you're late. So he takes the money back. But let's look at the point of God now. How can we know what's God's time? How can we know that if you come to the meditation, you're late or you're early? Of course, for me, it's a miracle that you come to the meditation. So I consider that a miracle. I've had to have it see. Right? That becomes a blissful moment. Right, to see. So that's how you're supposed to think. In other words, it's not whether the person is late by what? It's the fact that the person reached. That is what you should be overjoyed at. Whether it take a month, or whether it take a week, or whether it take a day, the person still reached. Right? If something could happen, the person never reached. And if you are going on a trip, and you're taking a car or a train or whatever, just pray that you reach. Right? It could be the fact that you might not reach where you're going. So that calls for another quality, patience. And they say patience is virtue. Right? So when time controls you, you become impatient or you become angry. So if you look at all the qualities, the negative qualities, the anger, the impatience, the ego says, you're late, so I have to punish you. Or the ego says, you're wrong, you're supposed to be here. Right? But anything could have happened. The rain, snow, or it could have got an accident on the road. Right? So when you're in harmony with the universe, that means you're in harmony with time. I mean, time is on your side. So we always seem to be fighting time. And that's when we get into trouble. So, my biggest problem, right? When people come to do the readings. Right? They said, well, Swami, I made an appointment. You have to see me now. What do? I am still working with God to try to help that person But I can't determine when that person will achieve some peace in their mind. I can determine when the person will recover from that consultation or be fully satisfied. So in godly actions now, in healing and in spiritual actions and so on, helping people, there is no time. Time does not exist. When you get to meditation, that's your time. Right? Time moves on anyway. So now time is what determines if you are here or not. So if you're not here, you're not here. If you're here, you're here. Right? And that brings peace of mind if you think of it that way. Of course, we always have to try to do whatever best to do what we want. But if it doesn't happen, don't get angry. That means you're not spiritual. So, and if you really look back at your life, you will see that you did get everything that you want. You just didn't get it the way when you wanted it. You know? So if you're praying for Mercedes-Benz, it will come, but you don't know when it will come. Right? So once you put your request in, you get what you want, according to time. Now, the idea is, again, it is time. It is controlling time. Now, time, again, is what controls us. Because of time, we do things. You know, we get angry. But is it really time from the clock? Does time come from the clock? Where does time come from? You know, sometimes people hurry to do something, and then sometimes people take their time, especially when making love. They don't want the time to finish. That's the only time they don't want. They're not in a hurry, right? And then when they're eating their food, if they hurry, it affects the whole system. And if they take their time and eat properly, then it works better. So you see, again, time controls it. But where is this time coming from? When the person is late, is he really late? Who determines how late is it? Oh, the clock. Wait a minute. So the clock is controlling the way you think now. The clock is controlling the way you fight and quarrel. Right? Right? I had one wife, one of the wives complained to me. She says every time, Swami, he's spending time with me in bed, but every time he looks at the clock. He keeps looking at the clock. Right? So he stops to look at the clock. So I had to holler at him, stop looking at the clock. Because when he's not looking at the clock, he'll spend a better time with her. He will not worry about anything. But looking at the clock, he's never going to enjoy it. So the clock can control us. Right? So the element of time can determine all of our feelings. And where does it come from? The mind. It's the mind. Because even though the clock is there, if you really feel tired or sleepy, the clock doesn't matter anymore. If you have to go to the toilet, the clock doesn't matter anymore. Right? So it's a perception of mind, isn't it? In the mind. It's how you perceive it. So what the mantra does is it affects the mind so that you can have more harmony with time and become more patient. Right? If you're not getting rich yet, there must be a problem of time. If you're not married yet, the problem is time. Now you have one of the greatest gifts of measuring time. I have taught you this. The life code. When you take your code and you add it up to the year and it becomes a 9, it's time to stop everything. Don't do anything. Because if you do anything that year, you know what's going to happen. Right? If it comes out to a 9, that means you have to sit back and wait. Right? Now what I like about a 9 year is that in that year, if I end up spending a lot of money, I know what's going to happen in 2 years. I'm getting a lot of money back. Somehow with a 9 that works. But look how time takes over your life now. So time takes over your life. So, you're running a 9-day, you're not going to invest in no stock market that day. Right? But if you do, right, 2 days from now, you know it's going to go down. If it was a 9 today. And today is my 9. So, but I already acted on it. I came twice to the altar. But the whole idea is that you do things in twice. You have to do everything in twice. Movements. So you can control time that way. So I've given you one of the formulas on how to control time. Now if the person is late, did you stop to think that they were running a 9 that day? No? You got angry. Right? You got angry and you said, oh boy, he's late, I'm going to whip him with some words about it. But you don't stop to think maybe he's running a 9 or he's running a 6 day where he's going to be late. And it's always right. Whenever you're late, it's always on a 6 day or 9 day. It's always, those who know it, those who have worked with a number knows it. And it's always those days. And it's always those years when you're running 6 and 9 that you're late in everything. But the other days, it's wonderful. Everything goes in time, you reach in time. What's your traffic problems? If you go on a 9 day, you get stuck in traffic for hours. Or a 6 day. But when you go on a 5 day, oh boy, you just whiz right through the traffic. Right? It's amazing. So this element of time can be assessed by you using the life code.